Welcome back to Golf Climb 2026, my story of how I'm trying to rank top 10 on my local climb this year. I'm Sean, and this is my first Zwift race ever. If you missed the last episode, I did an FTP test that crushed me. But I got an FTP of 215, which isn't the worst in the world. I'm gonna put that to the test here and see if I can keep up with this pack and maybe even eke out a podium spot. So here we go. At the beginning here, I try to get a jump on the pack and see if I can spin into the start. And at 143 watts, that didn't happen. So the first lesson is make sure I'm hitting somewhere around 250, 300 at the start to get a huge jump. And we'll see how that goes in the races after this. But quickly, I punch up the effort and catch up to the front of the pack. So this is what I'm learning about Zwift, and I guess cycling or racing in general. I know this is a video game. If this was real life on a real road, it would be much, much different. But in Zwift, I'm starting to understand more of the strategy on when to push and when to just sustain effort. Now, the guy at the beginning of the race decided to shoot off the front. He's attacking right out of the gate. I know I don't have the stamina to push 225 watts and catch him. And I want to stick in the middle of the pack and kind of ride everybody's draft. So his decision isn't something that I'm going to try to do right now. He might be racing in this category that's way below him and he wants to get some points by coming in first or something. I don't know the guy. I don't know how this works. But it's not something that I'm going to try to match. And we catch him about 7.5 minutes later. But I thought on my first race, the best bet would be to stay with the front of the pack and pace myself between that first and 8th place, like between 1 and 10. If I could stay within that, towards the end, I think I'd be able to assess what that final push was going to entail. And this strategy is different than a hockey game, which is my background. I've been playing hockey since I was 4. There isn't a lot of sustaining energy for the end of the game. It's pretty much full throttle every time you're on the ice. And your endurance and conditioning should be enough that when you get deep into a game, you're able to just grit it out. Now, I haven't played a truly competitive game in quite some time, like 14 years or something like that, but it's a sport that's built on sprint endurance, not long endurance. And in races on the bike, 45 minutes of sustained effort is still kind of on the opposite side of the coin
Dude,
for me.
he's just by himself all the way up there.
Coming around some of these sharp corners, what I'm realizing is I don't have the ability to move left or right. Or maybe I do, and I just don't know how to on the controller or on the keyboard, so I'll have to look into that. But some folks have that controller for Zwift where you can decide where you want to be on the course. I don't. So on these turns, I'm not able to control inside or outside, and you see right there, I just kind of get dropped in the back of the pack. It feels like I'm getting dropped all over the place. So I have to spend a little bit more energy catching up, and we're gonna see if that expenditure takes its toll as the race goes on. So at this point, you can see we're catching up to the guy that shot off at the front of the race, and that's another thing that I'm learning. You can try to set like a stupid pace at the beginning of all these races, but the huge pack with all of that momentum, with all of that draft, is most likely going to catch you at some point, unless you're a freak and you're just doing, 5-6 watts per kilo for the entire race. The best bet in a lot of these long race cases is to just stay with the pack. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. Let's talk about fueling, because I have a feeling this will evolve more and more as I level up in Zwift. But for every ride, no matter if it's a race on Zwift or outside, I have one full bottle of electrolytes. I'm using Drip Drop right now. There's another one locally here in Colorado from like the Mortal kombucha brand called Mortal Hydration, and that's great. My wife loves it. But anyways, I'm always fueling with a full bottle of that. I'm always hydrating with a full bottle of that. And then I have another bottle of water, should I need it. Today, the day of this race, it's about 2 p.m. So at that point, I've already had breakfast and my snack, which is usually like 2 Chobani yogurts. So I'm a bit fueled up on calories and carbs. And right before the race, I might have some sort of quick digesting sugar or carb situation like a Butterfinger or a scoop of peanut butter and honey. What I want from that is a quick shot of fast burning energy. For hockey games, I would slam like a cupcake and a bottle of Mountain Dew before every game. And then I'd hit the second cupcake in between either the first and second or the second and third periods, which was always a treat. I freaking love them. I know they're terribly bad for you, but as you're expending all of this energy, like you're getting rid of the calories pretty quickly. You want those fast digesting, those fast burning sugars so that you can just snap into something, some big efforts. For the race days, I'm gonna have something that I can throw in my mouth during the race. And today I had a Kind bar. And I'll tell you right out of the gate, not the best choice. No! Super dry, having to chew and breathe, it's just too much work. Usually I would grab like one of my kids' applesauce pouches, but we didn't have any of those, so I opted for this Kind bar, and take it from me, don't. Just don't. I think it literally added a few BPMs every single time I took a bite because of all the work I had to do. Here, we hit the first sprint. And this is my first ever sprint. So I'm completely unaware of what's happening. And you can see the pack start to pull away and string out, and I finally wise up and try to hit some power to catch up. And so I punch my drafting boost. You can see me fumbling around with the trackpad. Quick tip, if you don't have the controller, press spacebar. Or something like this is gonna happen to you. No! I honestly feel like I lost control. So what I need to do is burn a match to try and catch back up to that next pack. I'm in no man's land out here, in 10th place. So if I can catch back up to that pack in front of me, then I'll be in a good spot. But I definitely felt out of pocket on this first sprint. Didn't know what to expect, and it got me into the high reds. My heart rate was about 180, and I can feel the legs starting to balloon. But nevertheless, I put on the burners. This dude Bowles gets on my left side, and we finally catch up to. There's a guy that just appeared. I don't know. We finally catch back up to all the rest of the guys. Okay, here's what I was saying earlier. I just took the last bit of my bar, and I'm trying to wash it down with some water. This was the worst decision for fueling in a race that I think I could have made. I think I'm gonna try to get some gels and try those at some point, but just take it from me, bars are a no-no. Something liquidy is best. And here's the Strandberg dude chirping. Dude, I love the chirps. Bring the chirps. I'm good with this. I'm good with this competition. That's what makes this stuff fun for me. Keep it going.
Nice, boys. D down under it. Let's go. Triple X. That must be Vin Diesel undercover.
Vin Diesel, Triple X. It's a movie way back in the early 2000s. I probably just aged myself. So that's a little bit of a dad joke. But anyways, Strandberg is still way off on the front. Around this point, I'm feeling okay. The pace is settled in. It seems everyone is just biding time until we hit that last climb. I can feel the pack getting more tense. Everyone seems to be setting themselves up for the big push at the end. And as this guy you'll see here in the retro Zwift jersey on the right, Redderson, he attacks. The rest of the pack stays put, which again is going to stay my strategy. But I'm watching a lot of the guys who do these races on YouTube, and they do them for real, and I'm trying to understand when the best opportunities are for attacking. I know this is incredibly different in person in a real race. Like if you watch any of the crits on YouTube, you see guys play the field and dictate pace. They want to keep everyone in check, and they're also playing off their teammates, if they're racing with the team. But on something like this, I think there's a lot of strategy in using the digital drafts, I guess I'm going to call them. Using your position to elongate your effort and set yourself up for that 1 or 2 big efforts throughout the rest of the race. So again, I'm just going to stay close to the front of the pack here and let the guys who want to fly off the front do that. I'm not going to take the bait. Okay, here we are at the beginning of the climb. And I'm looking at the map and seeing that we have an easy yellow for a bit. So I'm just trying to decide where I want to be. I don't want to push so hard that I blow myself up out of the gate and can't make that final bit of the climb. But I know I don't want to get dropped right away. So I'm just going to pace myself on the few guys here at the front, which is a recurring theme, obviously. Who seem to be like the best guys in the pack. I'm also wondering who's behind us that has tricks up their sleeve that might pull them out and make some crazy moves to get into the front. I'm not going to worry about that too much, but I'm just going to try to keep my pace steady, try to keep my RPMs in that 90 world, and try to lower my heart rate if at all possible. I'm not gonna panic until it's time to panic. And I know I have the feather power just itching to be used, so I'm gonna use that later. So I'm going to tuck that in my back pocket for the end of this climb, maybe for the sprint. But as you're gonna see, I completely mistime the end of this race. Around here, the two in front of me start pulling off, and I want to keep them within 2 seconds. I feel like I can make up that amount of time if I need to, but I'm definitely feeling it. The legs are blowing up, they're heavy. I know I have a ton more in the tank to burn, but that tank is slowly draining. And I take a look at the map, I see this bit of blue, and I think that's where I'm going to throw the burners on. That's where I'm going to beat these dudes. So I hang back. I still hang back a bit, and I let them go because I know I have this power up and I know that I have a ton in my legs still. And coming up here on the cobbles, I do start to ramp it up a bit, and I just keep staring at that little bit of blue thinking, this is where I'm going to uncork it. I catch up to the guys. I see this J Short dude blast by me. I'm like, okay, I gotta punch it up here. We're so close to the blue that I can feel myself about to win the race, and I don't realize that I'm going underneath the finish line. I had so much left, and I completely missed it because I was staring at the graph with the colors instead of the ticker.
Oh, shoot.
That shows how much is left in the race.
I didn't know that was the end.
I easily could have won my first ever race. But, in the end, it was a killer introduction to Zwift racing. This is so much fun. I have so much to learn. And the beginning of this climb really reminded me of golf, so I was stoked to see how much I had in my legs.
I have so much more. I could have gone. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm thinking 2026 is going to be the year that I hit top 10 on this freaking climb for sure. So stay tuned. We have a bunch more races to go. We have a bunch more training to go. Until next time, thanks for watching.